You deserve love that feels safe, not like you're auditioning for approval. Yes, love, that sacred space where you're meant to feel held, seen, and comforted. And yet for so many, it feels more like a yearly performance review, one where you nervously await your partner's emotional verdict while wondering if your needs are too much or your vulnerability too inconvenient. We've heard this before. Did I say the wrong thing? Should I have been more understanding? Am I too needy again? Look, if your idea of love includes constantly managing someone else's emotional comfort while abandoning your truth, then we need to talk. Because love should never feel like an emotional customer service counter. I'm Dylan Moore, author, cognitive behavior specialist, and dedicated advocate for women's empowerment and men's emotional healing. In this discourse, let's unveil transformative strategies to restore your balance, reclaim your power, and anchor you in unshakable strength. Together, we'll unravel the absurd social expectations that have so long kept so many trapped in a labyrinth of self-imposed chaos, while exposing the inherited beliefs that gaslight us into self-doubt and dismantling the emotional nonsense we've been conditioned to accept as normal. A word on why love feels like a job interview and not a sanctuary. If romantic connection feels more like an audition than a safe haven, then please consider the following. You were raised to earn love, not receive it. If affection was conditional on being helpful, quiet, or emotionally convenient, you learned to equate worthiness with performance. You learned early on that your needs were too much, so now you downplay your desires to avoid rocking the boat. You were praised for being low maintenance, but the truth, you were just being exceptionally good at self-abandonment. You're addicted to emotional overfunctioning. You're always trying to fix, prove, or accommodate. Why? Because you've been taught that love is something to keep earning. You confuse emotional labor with intimacy, but performing emotional gymnastics to be chosen is not connection. It's simply codependence in a cocktail dress. Now, the therapeutic truth regarding core beliefs and overfunctioning in love. From a psychological perspective, this pattern often stems from core belief distortions and overfunctioning behaviors, where individuals take on more responsibility than is emotionally healthy, believing that doing so will earn safety, approval, or worse, belonging. This is typically rooted in childhood emotional neglect or conditional love, where love had to be worked for, not simply received, and as a result, your nervous system was programmed to associate love with proving, pleasing, and performing. But here's the reality. Healthy love doesn't require you to earn your keep. It requires you to be present, fully, messily, and honestly. Now, the hidden costs of performing for love. If you're always managing someone else's emotions, who's managing yours? Spoiler, probably no one. If your worth is tied to your usefulness, what happens when you rest? Do you fear being discarded? If you're terrified of being too much, who convinced you that your truth was excessive? If love feels like a test, who gave you the rubric? And why are you still following it? Let's be clear. Love isn't earned through exhaustion. It's cultivated through authenticity. Now, a word on how to stop performing and start belonging. Challenge the belief that love must be earned. Say it out loud. I do not need to shrink, edit, or overextend to be loved. Simply interrupt the urge to overfunction. If you're doing all the emotional heavy lifting, step back and ask, is this reciprocity, or am I trying to secure approval? Let people meet you in your fullness. Don't filter, don't rehearse. If they can't hold your truth, they're not your person. Simply rest without guilt. You're not required to perform in order to deserve love. Let rest be the new rebellion. Redefine intimacy as shared safety, not earned praise. Healthy love feels like freedom, not a probation period. Now, a word on why these actually heal. Okay? In CBT, this is known as behavioral reversal and cognitive restructuring. Changing actions and beliefs that keep you trapped in cycles of overexertion. When you stop performing and start receiving love from a place of worthiness, your nervous system begins to associate calm with connection, not anxiety with approval. It rewires the internal programming. I must earn love. I must be safe. I must be loved. That, my dear, is the beginning of liberation. And now a most revolutionary realization for those who have mistaken applause for love and sacrifice for connection. You were never meant to audition for affection. You deserve a love that doesn't ask for your performance. You're only your presence. So tell me, who taught you that love had to be earned? And more importantly, what might change if you decided that you were worthy without proving a thing? Drop a like or comment below, and let's normalize that love feels like home, not a hostage negotiation. Together we rise, together we thrive. Let's rise fierce in our new life of personal power and freedom.